Mike Dell's World number 226.
Don't bend the space-time continuum for me, babe.
Quit screwing around with that thing. You found Mike Dell's World. And good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. This is Mike. And this is, what is it, number 226, I said at the beginning, didn't I? And this is for November 5th, 2015. Today, to talk about the weather. You know, everybody talks about it, nobody ever does anything about it. But today and yesterday and the day before was a very oddball November, beginning of November for Traverse City and probably most of the Midwest, but at least here in our little town. And since we're kind of taking over for the Traverse City podcast on Mike Dell's World, we'll talk about Traverse City a little bit, at least the weather. So, yesterday and the day before and today all reached 70 degrees. That's, 70 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what that would be in Celsius, but anyway, that is definitely way out of the norm. I think last year, and I was trying to look that up, but I do believe last year we had snow on the ground on November 5th, or at least it was snowing. It was definitely not nearly as nice as it has been, and it's been pretty nice all fall. I mean, we've had a few days here and there where it got cold, and we did get a little skiff of snow, I guess. I was in North Carolina when that happened. Trying to find the climate data. The average high for Traverse City, Michigan in the month of November is 44 degrees. The highest ever was 77 degrees in, 1925. Yesterday it got to 76. And today it was 72. I think on Monday it was, on Tuesday it was 74. So we're right up close to the record. Yesterday was a record for that particular day at 76. But it's not generally that warm here in November. Average high temperature for the day is 44. The average low is 31. Record low is -5. That's minus 0.06. Oh no, minus 21 Celsius. Sorry. Oh, that 25 was in Celsius. So 25 degrees Celsius or 77 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know how to read this chart. Doesn't say when that record was. But if you look at the whole year, we've had snow here in every month, I believe, every month of the year, at least once. I believe July might be the only one where it's not happened. Well, I know measurable snow hasn't happened in July, but snow coming out of the sky has happened in July because I was here. And I know it happened in August because we were camping that year out, kind of in the middle of the state, but it was still close by. And, every time I get on here, everybody gets chatty on Slack, and I keep hearing those clickety clicks. And I got to remember to turn off Slack when I record because it could be dead all day, and those guys will start chatting. That's for work. It's kind of a work chat thing. If you never heard of it, slack.com. It's pretty cool. It's good for groups. It's private chat, sort of. I don't know. It's hard to explain what it is, except for it's mainly a chat thing, but it saves all the chats so you can search them, and you got different categories, and it's kind of neat. But we weren't here to talk about that. We're talking about the weather. Like I said, everybody talks about it. Nobody ever does anything about it. But, in August, we definitely had snow. I remember that. September, it's not unusual at all towards the end of September to have measurable snow. In fact, I think we had a little bit this year, towards the very end of September. And we definitely had snow in October. I want to say probably around the 15th. We had snow over in the middle of the state, not here in Traverse City. We've got this great big lake right here, Lake Michigan, that kind of acts as a shock absorber for weather around here. It generates weather, but it also kind of, if a big cold front comes in from the northwest, it'll get here. But right here where I live, 600 yards from the lake, my temperature won't drop nearly as hard as, just inland a few miles. My folks live about 10 miles inland from the lake, and they're routinely colder than I am and hotter than I am. We kind of, stay at a reasonable temperature, not all year. I mean, we get our extreme cold and we get our extreme warm. This summer, I remember a couple of days, I had to walk to the airport. I was picking up a rental car because I was taking a long trip, and the wife couldn't bring me up there, so I decided to walk. And this was, I think it was probably May. So it was, maybe 60 degrees, 62, 64, something like that when I left the house here. And the airport's exactly 2 miles. The airport terminal building's 2 miles walk from here. It's less than a mile if I could go straight, but I'd have to cross the runway and jump big fences and stuff. And I don't want to do that. Probably get arrested. But to walk it via road, it's about 2 miles. And I'm walking. I leave the house at 62 degrees. I walk less than a mile, make my right turn towards the terminal building, and I noticed, man, it's getting hot. I had a flannel shirt on and t-shirt. Man, I'm getting warm. And I took off the flannel. I'm carrying that, and it's just sweating. It just got hot and humid. And when I got to the airport, I got the rental car, and I get in the rental car, and the thermometer in the rental car said it was 84 degrees. I said, wow, that's crazy. It must have warmed right up. And I drive home, and it's still 65 degrees. So we had a little bit of an onshore breeze. It's not usually that drastic, but that particular day it was definitely drastic. But, in the rest of the year here, in the summer, we get up into the hundreds sometimes. I mean, it's pretty rare, but we do get there. I'm just looking at this chart. The record high for July is 105, and June 104, and August 100. Those are the only triple-digit months with the record highs there. But on average, June is 76.2, July is 80.7, August is 78.5. So, the 3 months of midsummer there are not terrible. But on the other hand, we're kind of humid, so it does feel a bit hotter than that. And it seems we go long stretches where we're in the mid-80s, and that's warm. Warm enough where I have air conditioning. And my office here is in the basement, so this basement room stays a pretty constant, right around 70 degrees all year round. Of course, the furnace is directly in front of me through a brick wall, but it's directly in front of me, so I get some pretty decent heat when the furnace is running, and like I said, in the summer, it's just cool down here because it's a basement. But let's see, January, on the other hand, is the coldest month. I'm just looking here. The coldest on average, the average high temperature in January is 28.5. And a record high of 59. I remember that too. We've had, just crazy high temperatures in months you wouldn't think. March 82, April 88. I remember one year in March, this was probably 3 years ago, maybe 4. We had the infamous March 1st blizzard, and it was a wet, heavy snow. We got something like 18 inches all within about 10 hours, and it was just real wet and heavy. It was right around freezing, and it took down a couple of limbs in the yard and landed one of them on our car out in the driveway. We've had a couple of those happen. But so here we are. We got 18 inches, foot and a half of snow dropped all over, just in, the span of a few hours. And on March, I think it was March 12th or 13th, it was a couple weeks later, just about a couple weeks later, we had a cookout with my folks and everybody. It was 80 degrees out. So, and then it went back and it snowed at least 2 more times that year. So, the weather here is just nuts. And I'm sure it's nuts all the other places. I'm just looking at Traverse City in general here for average snowfall. So they have an average snowfall of 23 inches in January, 13 inches in February, 8 inches in March, April 2.8 inches, May 0.1 on average. So, we have enough snow to have an average in May. Then it says 0 for June, July, August, September. So September, I guess, doesn't snow as much as May does. It's interesting. Then back in October, the average is, half an inch. And then November, 7 inches. And December, 19. And for the entire year, it's 74.3 inches. Now, that's for Traverse City proper. You go 5 miles in any direction, and that'll about double. There's a town, it's probably 45 miles as the crow flies from here inland along Interstate 75 called Gaylord. And that is what's known as the snow belt. And they get about double that. We actually get over 100 inches almost every year. I don't know where they got their climate data here, but we do get about 100 inches officially at Traverse City Airport. It's where they do all the weather. Average snowy days, like I said, for the year is 46.3 days that has measurable snow. That makes sense. But average precipitation inches, that's measured in water, for the year is 32.4 inches, and pretty much every month hovers around the 3-inch mark, with February and March down about the 2-inch mark. But all the rest of them have pretty stable around 3 inches, give or take. So, we get a few rainy days here and there and all that. We had, like I said, a gorgeous week this week, so I thought the weather was a good thing to talk about. It's probably boring, but if you guys live in climates that don't get this kind of weather, it is interesting. And like I said, it's completely different. If I look up, let me look up Gaylord, Michigan, just for the heck of it. All right, Gaylord. Let's see if that's in there. It is. Let's see if they got that climate chart. Oh yeah, climate chart for Gaylord. It's 145 inches on average per year. And what did they say? Traverse City, 74 inches. So yeah, a little over, well, about double for Gaylord. And like I said, they're 40 miles away, so it can vary wildly. I've seen it when we get lake effect. I don't know if you're familiar with lake effect, but it's where the lake is warm, but the air is cold, and it blows in from the northwest. That's when we get it. And it blows over the lake and dumps all the snow on us. But it goes in bands. And these bands are maybe 100 yards wide. Really that small. That's pretty small in cloud world. Excuse me. And so you could be driving along. I do a lot of driving up to Petoskey, Michigan, which is 60 miles north of here, all along Lake Michigan. And driving up there during snow, during lake effect snow, you could be in the sun and totally clear, have to put your sunglasses on, and then drive into a snow squall from a lake effect band, and you're in and out of it in 10 seconds. And inside the the band there, the drifting and everything. I remember the road would drift across. They had snowplows. They had 2 snowplows going each direction, and they just turn around, come back the other on a 1-mile stretch of US 31. It's a 2-lane highway going up to Petoskey. And they were doing about a 1-mile stretch back and forth because the drifts were coming across the road so quick that it was the only way they could keep the road open. And everybody's going about 5 miles an hour with their 4-ways on because you can't see anything either. It's not that it was terribly slippery. I mean, I could drive 60 miles an hour on snow if it wasn't for other cars and visibility problems. But anyway, so yeah, Gaylord's quite a bit different climate from us most of the year. And like I said, it's pretty amazing that they're really not that far away. They don't have the records on the Gaylord chart. I was kind of interested to see what their record temperatures are, because I believe they get hotter than we do because we're right near the lake and it has a cooling effect. So I'm pretty sure they do get higher temperatures in the summer than we do. I know we go camping over that direction sometimes, and it can be ungodly hot in the summer during the day. But it cools off nice at night, just like everywhere. So anyway, enough of me blabbing along about the weather. But I just wanted to throw in a few little interesting facts there. Sorry I missed yesterday, but beauty is I can record tomorrow. And I wasn't really supposed to record today anyway. I did record Geek of the North, which will be released on Wednesday. So on Wednesday next week, I look for Geek of the North. You can go to geekofthenorth.com, and that'll take you over to the Modern Life Network page for Geek of the North. And this week's show is going to be all about the technology of NASCAR tracks. So if you're interested in what NASCAR uses to put on these races that they put on, there's 3 more left in the season, so I figured I better get this one out while the interest is high. And if you've got any subjects you want me to maybe tackle, some oddball technology that you want to learn about, and I'll research it and do a show about it. So let me know. Mike@MikeDell.com is the email. And I want to say a special hi to Lester down there in Texas. I appreciate your listening and commenting. Keep it up. Keep me on my toes. Darn it. And one of these days I'm going to get Lester on one of my podcasts. Maybe we'll get him on here this month. Lester, get a hold of me, and maybe we'll set up a Skype call or even just a phone call. That'd be kind of fun. I haven't talked to you. I don't think I've talked to you, but maybe one time other, and all that, and anybody else. Like I said, you wanna come on and tell a story, I'm all ears. And I'm sure the rest of you'd like to meet some of the other listeners of Mike Dell's World and Podcast Help Desk and Geek of the North and whatever else I'm going to be doing. Can't talk about that yet. Anyway, catch me later.